Hi there, let's continue our lesson on Concord, particularly the first rule of Concord, subject-verb Concord. Subject-verb Concord has to do with the agreement or harmony between the subject of a sentence and the verb. First, what's a subject? The subject is the part of the sentence before the verb, or you can say the doer of the action in a sentence, or the one that the whole sentence revolves around. Then the verb is the action or the telling word in the sentence. So remember the general rule of Concord that when the subject is singular, the verb must also be singular. And when the subject is plural, the verb must also be plural. So let's consider this sentence. The girl goes to school every day. What's the subject of that sentence? The girl. And is that singular or plural? It is singular. Then what's the verb? Goes. Why goes? Because goes is the singular form of the verb go. Remember what I said concerning the concept of number, that when it comes to verbs, the one with a's at the end is the singular form, whereas the one in its base form is the plural form. So go is the plural form of that verb and cannot go with the girl because the girl is singular. So the girl goes to school every day. Let's also consider this one. The girls go to school every day. The girls is plural, then go is equally plural. So we have concord, that is harmony or agreement between the subject of the sentence and the verb. So please take note of this when you are considering subject-verb agreement. Again, let's consider subject-verb agreement when we have compound subject. So this one, I would say it is compound subject concord. So for compound subject, when we have two words joined by the conjunction and, it is considered plural, and then a plural verb should be used. Okay, so a typical example of compound subject concord is John and his brother have gone to school. John and his brother have gone to school. What's the subject of that sentence? John and his brother. And here we have two persons, two subjects joined by the conjunction and. So it is considered plural, and hence we have and not has gone to school. So if you say John and his brother has gone to school, that is incorrect because has is singular whereas the subject is plural. So the correct thing to say is John and his brother have gone to school. Right, so this is subject compound subject concord. Again, we can also have a compound subjects, that is two subjects joined by the conjunction and, but indicating a single unit. In this case, we consider the subject as singular and use a singular verb. A typical example is bread and butter is good for breakfast. Bread is the first item, butter is the second, joined by the conjunction and, yet the two are considered as one because it is but one delicacy. So we don't say bread and butter are good for breakfast, rather is, because the two are considered as single units. Hence, notwithstanding the fact that we have joined two items together, we use a singular verb. That is the second context when it comes to compound subjects. I would like you to note this. Let me say the latter is different from the former in the sense that the former was talking about two independent units, John and his brother. But in this context, we have bread and butter, which are often used together. We have other subjects like rice and beans, beans and yam. When you are talking about a meal that is often taken together, you are considering a single unit. Hence, you should make use of a singular verb and not a plural verb. Rice and beans is my favorite. So that is the second aspect of compound subject Concord. Again, let's also consider this compound subject Concord. The vice principal and English teacher is in class. The vice principal and English teacher is in class. Is that correct? We have the vice principal, then we have English teacher. Why do we use is and not are? It is so used because the vice principal is equally the English teacher. So the vice principal and English teacher is in class is correct. It is not are in class because we are referring to just one person. But how can we know this kind of subject as different from when we have two persons, that is the vice principal and another person as the English teacher? There will be an introduction of the article the vice principal and the English teacher are in class. That means two persons. And the difference between the second statement is the introduction of the before the second subject, the English teacher. So when you say the vice principal and English teacher, you are referring to one person. But when you say the vice principal and the English teacher, you are referring to two different persons. So the first one goes with is in the class. The second one goes with are in the class. Thank you for watching this video. I remain Teacher Dixon.